Hello, welcome back to my channel. I did these super cute fruit nails and I didn't record the one hand, so I figured that I would record doing the other hand as a set of press-ons. I was just kind of playing around with the idea of just wanting to use these super awesome cat eyes from Sundara Nails, and these are the fruits I decided to do on the other hand. I've done a strawberry before, but with different colors, and I figured those would be the ones that I would settle with for the other hand. Now, here is the set of cat eyes. They are glow in the dark, super shimmery neon cat eye polishes. So I know a lot of people do the fruit nails with jelly polishes, but I wanted to do like my own version of that and kind of do a little bit of a twist to it. So I also hadn't done the 3D effects or anything on the set that I already did. And I also wanted to use some of these new neon colors. Now they're not showing up the right colors per se in this video for some reason. So I went ahead and I put a picture on the screen at some point. Yeah, there we go. Those are what the colors really look like. That's just with the flash, but for some reason they're not showing up on my video the right way. But I wanted to use some of those new neon colors and the Fireflies Glow collection and do a set of fruit press-ons. Now, I chose to do press-ons because I want to be able to have the super fun fruits on both hands. And when it comes to doing art with my left hand, that just doesn't work out the way that I want it to most of the time. So I figured I would just do a set of press-ons. And since I already did the one hand off camera, I figured I would show you the other hand. And I pretty much keep it mostly real time so you guys can see how I did them. And if you like them or like any of the designs from the other hand that I didn't show, let me know in the comment section and I will do like a little tutorial for those. But I figured that I would show y'all the other hand and just go slow step by step just to show you like my method. So when it comes to doing press-ons, especially these ones, I just decided to do all of the nails at one time because that's just how my brain was working. So once I got my order for what fruit was going to go on what nail, it made it a lot easier and I was able to like think through the whole design. And then also with these polishes, I'm only going to be doing one layer because one layer is enough to keep it a little bit jelly, but still give it that glow in the dark punch. And the cat eye effect is still really good. And you can still see the color really well. So I just decided to do one layer. And with the cat eye for the lime, I just wanted the cat eye to kind of be off the edges and a little more located towards the center. So I really just play around with the cat eye magnet and just get the cat eye particles to where I want them to be. I really just wanted them to be in the center because that's where the fruit part, like this fruit slice juicy part, is going to show through. So I just pretty much play around with where the cat eye is. And once I'm happy with where the cat eye ends up, I go ahead and I put the nail in my lamp and I do a cure for just 30 seconds. So I actually started the nails with doing all of the bases. So that's going to be obviously the lime nail since it's green. I mean, it could also be grapes too, but I didn't want to do both colors of grapes. I actually prefer red grapes or purple grapes. So I went in with this color. I love this color. This is the color that my girls like to wear all the time. Like when I mean my girls, I mean my daughters. They love this color. My niece loves this color. This is just their favorite color. It's a perfect purple. The glow in the dark on these polishes is so strong. But for the grape design, I went with this purple. I love it. It is so pretty. I went on the whole nail because I decided that later on I was going to go in with 3D looking grape blobs. I mean, if you've seen the thumbnail, then you've pretty much seen the fruits already. But this is really just to like talk you through how I got there. Now, I could have just done one singular big grape, but I really wanted to play with the fun 3D textures and stuff. But yeah, what I did right there was I wiped off the excess polish that was flowing over the side. When you're making press-ons, you just want to keep in mind the flow of the gel. You don't want the gel flowing over the sides or anything, so you want to keep your shape as close as possible to the initial shape as you can, just because you don't want to do a lot of filing. I like to file and shape and stuff my tips before I do any polishing. So I try to keep the polish as centered on the nail as I can so that I don't have any overflowing or any wonky looking shapes or sides or anything. But again, you just get the cat eye effect where you want it to be and then put it in the lamp, give it a cure. I do 30 seconds. I actually just had to get a new lamp, and 30 seconds was good to cure this polish because it's very thin, very translucent, I guess you could say, because it's not super transparent. It's like kind of semi see through, but not really. So 30 seconds is plenty in this new lamp that I got. If y'all want to know the lamp that I got, I did record a little unboxing, but I took it out of the video because the video is already so long and I was shocked. But that's literally how long it took me, probably a little bit longer than what the actual video time is to do the nails. So once I sit down, I just kind of get in the zone, and I really just wanted to make this more of a tutorial video versus anything else. But I wanted to leave in all of the different fruits. I think I did take out the lime and the one other one. So I think I took out the lime as far as like drawing the designs because it's the same. No, I took out the lime because I can't do those designs. Oh, well, I can obviously because I do, but it's so hard to make the lime designs on camera, but I'll get there, I promise. But I leave everything else in. I do make some mistakes. I wipe some stuff off, but I wanted to just show y'all my process of working through this hand, I guess. So I did the other one and I really liked how it turned out. And between doing that other set and doing this set, I think there's probably about 3 weeks in between the two sets because, like, if y'all watched my last video, I've been having a lot go on, and I just haven't really had time to sit at my nail desk. I've been really busy with a lot of different things, and my sister-in-law brought over this wild sickness that took out the whole family. Like, people were almost having to go to the hospital. It was just really a lot, and it was like a good 2 or 3 weeks. And then in good old parent fashion, at the end when everybody was starting to get better, we thought we missed it and we came down with it, and both of us were so sick. So it just took a little bit of time to recover, but now everybody's finally back to normal, and I really hope this is the last sickness for a while because I cannot handle anymore. But that's just one part of what's been going on. But yeah, like I was saying, there's 3 weeks between the sets, so I finally sat down and decided to just go ahead and record the set. I wanted to keep it more in real time in case you guys wanted to follow along with any of the nails. You would have the ability to do so. I do not know why I am so far off the screen with this painting of these nails, but right now I'm just doing the base layer and I'm just putting the one color on, and I'm pulling the cat eye to wherever on the nail that I feel like I want it to be. So with the lime, I just wanted to reflect in the center. With the grape one, I just was cool with it reflecting all over the nail. For for the pineapple one that I just did, it could just be all over the nail as well. This is a papaya, so with this one, I just wanted it to be kind of in the center-ish because of where I'm like localizing the design. And then the last one is the strawberry, which is just going to be all over the nail as well. Now, this strawberry did not turn out as fantastic as my other strawberry did. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't, but I did a strawberry. If you check out my Instagram, I have another strawberry on there that I love even more. But I didn't record that set doing that strawberry, so I just wanted to do another one. I would think strawberries up there is one of like my favorite fruits of all time. I love strawberry flavored things. If it's strawberry flavored or orange flavored, you can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to enjoy it. So, yeah. But anyway, we're just doing the bases. And then once I do the bases, I kind of just start going in with the different designs. So, I mean, the polishes look great on their own, and you can kind of see the gist of where I'm going and what nail is going to be what. So, yeah, I just used, so this one isn't like I think with the strawberry, I needed like a more red polish. Now, I had a backup that I was going to do as far as like to get it more red, but it was still turning out kind of orange because of the polishes that I was wanting to use. I needed to make it glow in the dark. It couldn't just not glow in the dark. It couldn't be the only nail that doesn't glow in the dark. So I wanted to stay true to that collection. So I just picked the reddest orange of the bunch and did the strawberry. And I think that's another reason why I'm not too fond of it. I like my strawberries to be nice and red and juicy. Like they got to be red, red. I don't I don't know. Same with my watermelon. I like it to be really juicy red, but I really wanted to only use this collection and I really wanted all of it to glow in the dark. And the glow in the dark is like amazing at the end. So y'all just have to hang around and see that because they all glow really nicely. I only so with one of the nails, I think it was the passion fruit. One of the nails, on the other hand. I always mix that up. I'm pretty sure it's the passion fruit. I used a white polish and then I put a silver cat eye on top of it, but the white polish glows in the dark. So it was still able to be a cat eye and it was still able to be white. So it still looks really good at the end. But I really wanted to make the whole set glow. That was like my main thing. I wanted to be glow cat eye fruits because I don't think I've seen that by anybody yet. And I do plan on gluing these on. I have a set of nails on my hand right now. I have short nails right now. If you've seen my Instagram, you know that my nails are really short right now just because life. But I plan on gluing these on, and I'm probably going to wear these for a couple of weeks after I take these nails off that I have on. And I'm going to wear these fruits. And I'm so excited to wear these fruits. And for them to be glowing in the dark like they do, it's going to be a super fun summer nail set. I don't think I've ever done 2 hands of just fruits. And I also wanted all the fruits to be different. So we have all the bases. They are all cured. And now it is time to go ahead and start getting into the art part. Now, this is where I do kind of all of them at one time, but I do try to show you everything that I used. So for the lime, I wanted to use the new green from the new Neon 2.0 collection, but I had pulled out another green because I wasn't sure if it was going to be light enough. Also, these painting gels from Dyme Nails, I'm going to be using them. And I'm going to be using these new brushes from Bling Galleria. I'm going to use the one I call a cleanup brush, and I'm going to be using it's a 12 millimeter brush. I love a 9 or a 12. Those are my go-to lengths. Like, I'm always on the hunt. I'm always collecting 9 and 12 millimeter brushes. And I have my paint palette, and what I decided was I was going to try and see how comparable this green was to the lime color already on the nail. But when I went to use my brush, I was like, I guess I forgot to clean you out really well. So what I had to do was I ended up having to fix it because you see it's still like it's a little bit stiff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some top coat and I'm just going to put it on my palette and I'm just going to wipe my brush through the top coat until it thins out. Now it's not anything where you put a lot of pressure. You're just kind of swiping the brush through the top coat just to kind of loosen up the bristles a little bit. You can use alcohol or anything like that as well, but I just choose to not sometimes. I think that the brush, if I'm going to paint, especially thin lines, for me, I just feel like it works a lot better when I use top coat. I also do have a brush cleaner that I just need to put on my desk and just use it every time. But also at the end, when you're cleaning your brush out, if you use top coat, you just leave a little bit in your brush and then it doesn't end up getting stiff like that, as long as you make sure you put the top back on. So as you can see, the brush is kind of getting a little bit better, and I just am running it through the top coat and spinning it around, and I got it to a point where it was looking really good, and I wanted to show you what you want it to look like when you're applying it through the top coat. You see how you can see all the individual hairs on the brush now? And I just take it through one last time and I do like a little swirl to bring it back to its point. And now it's ready to go and ready to paint. So I'm just going to load up my brush with a little bit of this green. I didn't put a whole lot on because I was just going to do like a tester spot on this nail. I just really wanted, I'm going to do the same thing as this lemon, but I wanted to try to see if I could make smaller cells. Ultimately, I don't know which one I like more. I think I like the lemon one, but y'all will have to let me know your preference, whether you like the lemon or the lime. All right, so now I'm going to wipe off the nail with isopropyl alcohol because I realized that that color was just too close to the lime itself, and it wasn't going to give me that outer layer that I was wanting for the edge, like the skin of the lime. It wasn't giving me the color that I wanted. So, in that Neon 2.0 collection, there is another color called Lime Cream, and it is a very light pastel-y green color. And I decided that I was going to put some on a palette because I didn't want to use white because I didn't want it to be too stark. I wanted just, I still wanted a really good green color, and I felt like I could get there to the color I wanted faster with this color. So I'm going to take the darker green and I'm going to mix it in with this lighter green. Now, I always start when I'm mixing with just a little bit, and then if I need more, I just add more because it's always easier to add than to take away. So I've learned that with color mixing, you just mix a little bit in and you just kind of keep going and tweaking until you've got it to the color that you're wanting. So I thought this was a good outer lime color. The dot on the bottom is the initial color, and the top is the initial green color, but I mix it to make the perfect green. It's not too pastel, but it's not too dark at the same time. And now all I'm going to do is I am going to go around the edges, and so I'm going to just do the outer line. Now, I did notice when going back through and editing the video that my camera was picking up my glove and the brush more so than the actual art that I was painting on a lot of the time. But I still feel like you can see enough of what I'm doing to be able to get to grasp the concept without me having to redo the whole video. Now, if there are any fruits that you want to see done individually, I'm totally happy to make a separate video going slower, showing any other steps, basically just doing it in real time and explaining as I'm going. My husband was just playing his video game while I was doing this set, and all the words weren't super fantastic to keep in the recording. So while he was gaming, I was doing this nail art, and usually voiceovers are a lot easier for me because then I can just do them when I get time at a later date and I can edit them how I need to, because sometimes I take parts out, and yeah, I just have to figure out. I'm about to switch to a different editing software because I'm about to buy a new recording camera so that I cannot be using my phone to record and edit. So, yeah, I'm looking into getting a camera for recording and all that. So, I'm going to switch my setup, which will make it easier to do like voiceovers during, because then I can just export the sound and chop it up and put it in there a little bit easier. So, I am working on it, I promise. But the one thing I have decided that I'm officially not going to do is I'm not going to do like a face camera. For me, my setup I just don't have an amazing setup like a lot of people, so I am just going to stick to just doing voiceovers and hope that you guys continue to enjoy them. All right, so I'm going to use my flash cure lamp from Sundara. I have actually grown to love this lamp. I was iffy about it in the beginning, but I actually really do like it. It's really super strong. I've been using it's a touch activated, so that really comes in handy as you'll see later when I do the 3D parts. But also, I've been using this lamp to glow to make my kids' stars and dinosaurs that they have glow in the dark on their ceiling. I've been using it at night, and it's really, really bright and works really well. I only do 60 seconds on their ceiling at night, and it lasts for a few hours. So I think that's really cool. But anyway, I really like it. It comes with a stand. It took a little bit to get used to it, but I really do like it. I got it during the Mother's Day sale. Actually, during the Sundara Mother's Day sale, I was very good this year, and I only got three polishes, 3 or 4 polishes, and that lamp. I did very good. So yeah, I was very proud of myself. I regret not getting more, but that's what I did, and it worked very good. I'm very happy with it. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm just doing the leaves for my grape cluster. We're gonna do all of the 3D work at the end, but I did want to go and do a base of this green because what I'm going to do later is I'm going to go over the green with the green cat eye. Now, that's not really necessary. I mean, you could have just left this green. I could have, but I don't know why I didn't. But I ended up putting the cat eye over top of it because I thought it looked cool, I guess. Um, but yeah, I end up doing the 3D little daubs at the end. I do all of the 3D work at the end, which I do leave in most of it. Not all of it, but most of it. All right. So I finished with that green. Now we're going to move on to the pineapple. I pulled out this yellow from the collection. I don't know why it looks orange on camera. I promise it is yellow. This is the yellow I'm going to use for the strawberry seeds. I thought I was going to use it for the lemon as well, or the pineapple as well, but I am not. I ended up using mocha and top coat to make the little lines on the pineapple. Now, my pineapple is not my best work, but it is also my very first pineapple. So there is that. I mean, do I like it? I think it's cool. Ultimately, at the end, I think it's cool. I think I could have done things a little bit different. I mean, will I try to do it again? Probably, but I don't think I would do it the same way. Um, so what I just wanted to do was make lines to make like boxes, almost make like a argyle type pattern. But I really didn't want it to be so symmetrical and centered and stuff. I mean, maybe it would have looked better if it was symmetrical. Maybe that's why I don't like it because it's not as symmetrical as I wish it could be. But I feel like mixing the top coat with this brown gave me like a really good jelly brown. I don't have a jelly brown, but I really feel like I do need a jelly brown. It's more of like a shading color. And it kind of gives me like those pineapple lines, I guess. But that's what I was going for, anyways. But ultimately, I wasn't a fan. Out of all the nails, this was the one I liked the least. But this is like the general idea of what you would want to do. Now, I've seen a bunch of different pineapple pictures when scrolling Pinterest and just kind of looking at what people were doing for their idea of like a pineapple nail. And I kind of saw some that I liked, but once I got going, I wasn't looking at any reference pictures. I had looked at some stuff, but I wasn't looking at any reference pictures when I got going. Same with my other nail set. I didn't look at any reference pictures. I just looked at some to start the art, and then I just kind of did what I wanted to do because I know what the fruits look like, and I was fine with that. Just kind of going with the flow of what I wanted to do. But I guess I could have benefited from looking at a pineapple picture now that I look at it. But they're okay. I'm going to wear them. This was just like a general idea, kind of what to do. I wasn't going to record this set, but I really ended up liking the other one. and I figured some people might appreciate some fruits. And these are really, really easy. I also wanted to show y'all that as well. So there are some of y'all on here that say you cannot draw. You really need no kind of drawing skills. I don't have any drawing skills. Like I can't draw on pen and paper, but I ended up picking up the paintbrush one day and decided I was going to try to draw something, and I actually wasn't too mad at it. So I just kind of kept going little bits at a time. Now there's still stuff where I get intimidated by it and I don't want to try it, but I'm hoping that breaking this down and kind of keeping it a little bit slower does help y'all and kind of give you the courage to try it out. It's a lot easier to look at the nail art as it's being done slowly versus just seeing the end product sometimes. And that's like my whole point of kind of wanting to do this channel was just to kind of slow things down for y'all and like break it down and show you that it is doable. But it's almost like you have to deconstruct the art pieces or deconstruct the nail set and go all the way down to the base and just go one step at a time. So for me, I am literally on this step of the nail, and that is all that I'm thinking about. So when I get done with this step of the nail, then I move on to the next one. And I actually think that for this set, I love that papaya the most. I was very shocked at how easy that was to do. But when seeing everybody else's, I was just like, there's no way that I can do that. There's no way that I can make that look good. Same for the kiwi. Like they look very difficult, but once you get started doing them, they're not as hard as they may seem. It's just the deconstructing of the art that I feel like is the hardest part. And then once you can get used to doing that, I feel like the art becomes a lot easier. Now, with this one, I mean, I don't feel like the pineapple is that bad, but I mean, I definitely see where I could have done better with it. I just feel like it not being very symmetrical kind of throws off my brain a little bit of it being like not perfect. So, all in all, is it bad? No. Could it be better? Of course. I always think that my art can be better, but you also cannot be scared to try something and fail because I mean ultimately if I didn't like that nail, I only put a base coat and a few lines on it. I could have just easily gotten another nail. So that is another reason why I did it on press-ons because I hadn't tried any of these fruits. This was my first time attempting them except the strawberry like I had said. I haven't done any of these fruits before. No, I lied. That is a story. I did the lime last year and I did a lemon, but I did it with dip powder. So I did do lemons and limes last year, but any of the other fruits, I haven't done those. So for this one, I initially thought that I was going to use that yellow gel right there, but I just remembered that I got these new painting gels from Dyme Nails in their spring collection, and I hadn't even opened it yet because I have a different plan on using them. I did get these little sponges, these little tiny square sponges from Amazon, and I'm using my grabber picker upper tool thing from that I use when I stamp to hold. I'm gonna use that to hold the sponge. But when I open these potted gels that don't come with a seal, here's how I like to open them. I poke a little hole, and in order to keep the gel from spilling over the sides, I like to just cut the center, leaving a little lip on the edge because my I don't know why, but my gels like to spill everywhere. So I like to leave the edge. Is it aesthetically pleasing? No, but guess what? It works. My gels don't spill everywhere. And I have to figure out where to buy some of those little pot tops so that I can just like get a cover on them or something because I have one company that I have them from that has the little like potted cover part so they don't spill and I love it. So anyway, I was just showing you what this color was. It is super pretty. I actually didn't end up needing any more. I just used the amount that came off of the top from when I cut it open. And as you see, it got everywhere. So that's why it's always important to wear gloves, even when you're working on press-ons. Always important to wear gloves because you never know what's about to happen, and we don't want gel on our skin. We just don't. That can lead to contact dermatitis. It can lead to gel allergies of all kinds, and none of which you want. So I am just going to take my square little sponge thing and I'm just going to tap it into the polish. Now, I did see that you could not see what I was doing, so I decided to move it more in frame also so that I could hold it a little bit better. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting some polish into the sponge and then I'm just going to dab it onto the nail. Now, I wasn't sure at first how this was going to look, but I know that I wanted the yellowish center. But once I got going, I was so shocked because it made that aura type center look so good. But it was so effortless. Like, I was so shocked. And this is just a one layer over a dark color with a yellow. And I was like, so shocked. I couldn't leave in the voicing of it because my husband, like I said, was playing his game. But I was just like, when I was doing this, I was just like, it's so cool the way it was just like melting. And I wanted to do a center like the pit area of the papaya so that I could put like the black seeds there. But that's just one layer and I felt like it worked out really, really well. And then I just take this cleanup brush and give it more like an oval shape so that I kind of keep the pit area looking really like good right there. But I did the one layer and then I just cured it with my flash cure light. And then once I went in with that second layer, that's when I get that full payoff. And it looked really, really good. I cannot wait to do more ombre and aura nails. I think I might do like a French tip gradient type set with all of these spring colors. There are 6 colors in this set. I think 2, 4, 6, maybe 8. 8 colors? I'm thinking there's 8 colors. Yeah, I think there's 8. And they're all really, really pretty. And I just wanted to try them out for the set because I was already using the white, so I might as well try the yellow. But that second layer, like you can barely see that first layer, but when I go in with that second layer, I was just like shocked with how opaque it was, how beautiful it was, how easy that ombre was. If you're struggling with like aura nails or like ombre and stuff like that, you just need to get these paints. They are relatively inexpensive. Like, I know a lot of people are on the. I actually just watched a video earlier today for the grad gels. I don't even know the name of the company. Starts with an A. Arty Gel, but they make some gradation gels and a lot of them are out of stock right now. I went and looked already, but it's like the same idea with these gels. These gels just come in a pot, and you can also paint with them and stuff like that. I mean, you can paint with the other gels too, but these are a lot less milligrams. So, I mean, the other one comes in a tube as well, but it was the same idea. I got the same payoff, and I was really, really loving how easy this was. I just did a yellow over an orange, and I was just like, my mind was blown. So, yeah, if you haven't tried out Dyme Nails painting gels or Dyme Nails anything, you probably should because she's got some really good stuff. I should have used her liner brush in this, but I did not. I do not know why. I just used this cleanup brush and then the 12 millimeter for the whole set. It just worked out that way. I don't know. I did my 12 is my go-to, and this cleanup brush is really good. But look at that. That made the perfect center for the papaya, and I'm just going to throw some black dots, and then it will be finished. I was thoroughly impressed with how easy that was. Now, next is doing the spots on the strawberry. I like to make my spots on my strawberry yellow and then do a little bit of a white, almost like a highlight on them. On like I pick one side of the strawberry seed and I'll do like a highlight. But all I'm doing now is I'm taking my dotting tool and I'm just making little oval seeds on my strawberry. and I kind of do it like I would do a polka dot pattern, which I'm dying to do. Oh my gosh. I'm probably gonna have to do a polka dot set coming up. I saw this artist on Instagram and I'm obsessed with her polka dot work and I love polka dots. So I'm probably gonna have to do something with gradients and polka dots and stuff because I can't stop thinking about it. But I really wanted to do this set because I've had this fruit set saved ever since I saw the that cat eye glow in the dark collection. I was scrolling fruits on Pinterest, and I saw it and instantly wanted to recreate it. But I wanted to recreate it and make it glow. I don't think I've seen that though. That's why I was so intrigued by the set, I guess, because the glow in the dark, I just can't get over it. I cannot wait to put these nails on, and they turned out really, really cute. All right, so we've got our seeds on, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it into the lamp, give it a full cure. With the painting gels, I do cure for 60 seconds because I want them to be fully cured. Even though it's a very thin layer, I want them to be fully cured. Then, as you can see, I'm not done by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, obviously, but you can see what fruits they're going to be. My kids were, I had to stop there, I think, for dinner. And yeah, my kids were excited. They thought they were pretty cool. No, I stop at some point and I have to go do dinner with the kids, but they came over. They like to check out what I'm working on. And they thought they were pretty cool. They could tell me all the fruits. Even my 3-year-old could tell me all the fruits at this point. So I was like, okay, I think they're recognizable. I think we are there. We eat all the fruits as well, so they looked enough like the fruits that we eat, and they looked realistic enough so that all of my kids could even tell me what they were before they were even finished. And they loved the end result. I haven't shown them the glow, but I showed them the 3D. I got finished the grape shortly after dinner, and I showed it to them before they went to bed, and they were so excited. They loved it. Can't wait to show them the glow. They love glow in the dark. All right. So now I'm just adding the crown part of the pineapple. Now, I could have made this more of a brown green versus a bright green, but I wasn't really feeling that color for that. I was trying to keep the set bright. So some of it, yes, some parts are unrealistic because grapes are not that green and the pineapple is not that green on the top like that. It's a little bit darker of a green, but I was just loving the vibe of the neon because I think that neon fruits are so cool. But I also debated on doing a grapefruit, a dragon fruit, an apple was on my list, a mango, and what did the kids ask me to do? Rhubarb, but I was like, no, I don't eat that. We don't eat that. I'm not going to do that. But I think those were the only other ones that they asked me no, a peach. That was the other one, a peach. And I was like, I don't really want to do a fuzzy nail. I want to do something that actually could be like the inside of the peach. And I didn't really want to do a pit. That's why I didn't want to do the apple. I didn't want to do the peach. And a plum. So they were asking me to do different ones, blueberries, cherries, stuff like that. So I mean, I have more fruits that I can do. If y'all want to see any fruit tutorials, like I had said, let me know if there's any that you specifically want to see that I could do maybe for you. But these are just the ones that I narrowed down to. As you see all my scratching out on my paper in the beginning, I went back and forth with different ones. I think I'm going to do a grapefruit set, just like a grapefruit beachy pink set. I'm definitely going to do blueberries because gotta do blueberries. But I just decided on these. And after I finish up the green base, I do end up going in with some. The black is for the papaya seeds on the inside. And the white I pull out is just for the highlight on the seeds of the strawberry. But I end up pulling out the green that we used for the lime to do the grape stem leaf part and that on the pineapple. Like I said, I don't know why I made them cat eye. I did not do that same type of thing for the other side, but it is what it is. Also, I do leave in this, I do this twice because I wasn't quite sure how I wanted the dots to look in the middle. I was just kind of playing around. with this larger dotting tool. I also wasn't sure if I wanted them to be flat or if I wanted them to be 3D. But I ultimately decided on making them flat because I had planned on doing some black 3D dots, but I ended up liking how it turned out with them looking flat, so I just left it alone. This was my first attempt. I didn't end up liking how some of them were touching because I ultimately guess I did not want any of the black dots touching because then they looked like smears, and that's not the look that I was going for. So with it not being cured, um, I just wiped it off with some isopropyl alcohol and I went in with a smaller dotting tool and just basically redid this. But I wasn't really liking how the dots were looking touching each other. I know the seeds touch in the fruit, but I just wasn't liking how it was looking on the nail. And it just wasn't my favorite thing. So I redo that, and once I'm happy with the dot placement, I do give it a cure, put it in my lamp, and get to going. So, a couple of the stuff that's coming up is kind of self explanatory. Like, I'm going to put the cat eye gel on the green part for the grape. For the pineapple, I'm going to do the highlight for the seeds for the strawberry. So, I'm going to let it play for just a few minutes since I have been talking for like the entire video so far. And then I will come back a little bit closer to the end when I'm doing the 3D work and I will explain what I'm doing to you guys. Not doing to you, but explain what I'm doing on the nails. Alright, so now we are getting to the point where I just do the dot on the lime. So what I like to do when I'm doing these designs where I'm making like this slice look, I like to just make a dot in the center where everything kind of flows from. And then I just did that off camera because that got to be way too much. I ultimately don't know which one I like better. I think I like the lemon better. But yeah, I went ahead and did the lime off camera because that for me is just, I have to hold the nail really up to my face and I have not mastered that one on camera yet. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to top coat all of the nails. I'm going to top coat them because the 3D effect gel that I use on top does not need to be top coated. It is a no wipe. So I can go ahead and top coat these nails and then they will be ready to go. So I really like how that came out. Like I love the look of that. And then throwing the top coat on, it just like glosses it up and then just wait till y'all see these glow in the dark. I can't get over that part. It's my favorite part. I love nails that glow in the dark. Now I do have to put my hands under the covers when I'm sleeping with glow in the dark nails, but I love the glow in the dark effect. I really like how these turned out, but right now I'm just putting a top coat on all of the nails because they all need a top coat to protect the color. And then if you decide you want to do 3D work on top, you can. If you decide that you don't want to do 3D work, you also don't have to. You could just leave them like this. I mean, people will get the gist that that is a grape. One singular grape, yeah, it looks like a grape. Everything looks like what it's supposed to look like. Like that looks like a pineapple, the grape, the strawberry, all of it looks like the fruits. So you don't technically have to do any 3D work on top. Same thing for the other hand. You know that it is an orange, you know that it's a lemon, a watermelon, a kiwi, and the passion fruit. You know what the fruits are. You don't have to do any 3D work. So if 3D texture is not your thing, you don't have to. You could just stop right there after top coat. So it's really up to you and your personal preference as far as what you like with your nails, whether you like the 3D work or not. For me, I wanted to add that in there because I like the 3D. It gives my fingers something to do. It's like instead of picking at them, I just rub my fingers on the 3D parts. It's almost like a fidget toy or a fidget ring or whatever. But I mean, you could leave that. That could also look like a plum if you wanted it to, because it's got the leaves and stuff. So that could be a plum nail. I didn't even think about that. I could have just left it like that to be a plum. It does look like a plum, but I wanted to do grapes, so I ended up doing grapes. But right now, just top coating so that all the nails are protected underneath the 3D gel. So I really like how everything turned out. I was back and forth on if I was going to do the 3D, but I mean, some stuff when you just do the 3D, especially when it comes to fruits, you just make them look juicy. So if that's a look that you want, I definitely suggest some kind of 3D gel. You can use rhinestone glue, any type of no wipe, thicker clear gel could do 3D work. I have one from Dyme Nails that I like to use. It's called the multifunction gel. You can chrome over it. You can do any kind of 3D like swoop designs. You can do different kinds of designs and it will kind of like fall into the shape that you're wanting. It's not going to run. It stays where it's put. But that's my go-to. I really like it. And you see how that white little shadow or the highlight in the fruit seeds just makes them just pop. So yeah. All right, so here's the set as a whole. I put them all on the stand. Here's all of the set. I haven't done any 3D work on them. But here's the set as a whole. All different fruits. They all have an amazing cat eye effect to them. They all glow in the dark very well. But here is the entire set. Now you could just leave the set just like this if you wanted to. You don't have to do anything else to it. You could just leave it right here. But for me, Actually, here's how they would be because this is how the fruits, that's just how they are. But for me, I wanted to do some 3D work. So I did speed up parts of this. I also did take out some parts of this because the lemon, the lime, and the orange are all the same. I only do the orange on camera. I do the strawberry, half of the strawberry on camera for you. I show you the methods to do the grapes, whether you when you're making dots, um, whether you want to use a liner brush or a dotting tool. My preference when I'm doing um, dots is to use a dotting tool, but I do show you the methods that I use or that you can use. But with the nails already being top coated, all you have to do if you're not happy with your design is just take some isopropyl alcohol on a lint free wipe and just wipe them off. So you want to wait for it to bubble up just a little bit, and then just doing the circle like that will release the gel in a circle onto the nail, and it will release it from the brush so you're not dragging it. Um, I also do suggest curing each line or dot as you do it, not putting like two or three at a time, because then they could possibly roll together and run or whatever. But that is one way. I just don't like how there was a bubble in there. So I decided to go in with the dotting tool and pretty much do the same method. I did want to show you that it does not run. So I end up doing about, I think, 5 or so dots on here just to show you that the multifunction gel stays where you put it. But I ended up doing the rest of the dots off camera because I mean, I think after a few dots, you kind of get the gist of where I was going with that. But I wanted to show you just how it worked. Also, would have looked fun if the base was matte and if I did the leaves and just the dots in the glossy, which is probably what I'll do next time. Make the matte base and then just do the 3D work in the glossy. But yeah, that's basically all I do. I place the dot on the nail and then I just swirl my tool to make the circle shape, and then it also releases it from the tool that I'm using. But as you also see, I have not flash cured any of them and they just stay where they are put. I do end up wiping off this particular design, but here is the finished result. I love how it turned out. I think it came out really well, and it's probably one of my top favorites of this entire set. But I went ahead and actually did the lemon and lime off camera because I wanted to show you guys how to do the little cells like this and with a liner brush. So you're going to want to just place a bigger dot and then use the swirling motion to just drag it around. And then you're just going to want to pull it into shape. Now, you don't have to work super fast because it's not going to cure on you or anything like that. Um, just add to the gel as you need and just kind of drag it carefully and very gently into shape. And then once you're happy with the design, with the 3D-ness of it, then I would suggest giving it a quick flash cure so that you don't bump it or it doesn't drag around the nail. But I'm going to let you guys go ahead and watch this one, and I will be right back. All right, now for the pineapple, the gist is going to kind of be the same thing. I am going to fill in each one of these individual squares with the 3D gel. Now, this is very tedious, time consuming, and ridiculously unnecessary, but I felt like it would just make the set. It would just make the nail be what it needed to be. So I do the same thing. I just very carefully dropped a dot in the center and I'm just moving it around to cover the entire square. So that's what I'm going to do for this entire nail. I only show the one on camera and I do the rest of them off camera because I'm not going to lie, this nail probably took me probably like 30 or 45 minutes just to do the 3D effect on this nail. Sometimes some of the work is a little more meticulous and takes a little bit longer, but ultimately, I think that it was very worth it because look at how that nail turned out. It looks so juicy and I love it. I love the 3D. I love how it turned out. All right. So next is going to be the strawberry. Now, the strawberry, there are many different ways to do the strawberry. My suggestion would be to get a longer liner brush, probably use a 15 millimeter or a 20, and get the gel completely on the nail or on the brush, and then just drag it in like an S. So you're going to make figure eights basically, and just weave around the seeds. And then to me, I find that that looks a little bit better to me personally because that's the look that I like. So now there are some people that will take their 3D gel and just draw lines across, kind of like how I did the pineapple, but it's really just personal preference on this part, whatever you want to do. I just found this to be easier and I liked it. So I'll let you guys watch this and I will be back in just a minute. All right. So here are all of the fruits. I decided not to do any 3D work on any of the other ones just because I just felt like they just didn't need it. So here's what they look like with my regular light and my flash on. And this is just with the flash. And then I put them out on my table and this is what they looked like just with my camera flash. And then check this part out. This is what they looked like glowing in the dark. I'm obsessed. I love how that looks. I think that is super cool. And then obviously they are much brighter in person, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I will catch you on the next one.